But what do you think? Do you think that the dogs can tell that you are simply a dog owner, or that you are also a dog owner who has a dog that?
I think they can tell that you're a dog person.
Okay.
You saw how she ran away from you?
Meaning you own a dog.
She got scared of you? You saw that?
Yeah. The little ones always do that.
You're not a dog person.
That's not true. Every other dog I meet.
Have you ever had a dog?
No.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're a dog owner. It's different.
Yeah, that's the only way you can prove you're a dog person.
Yeah.
You can't just like them.
You have to own one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't own any people.
Like,
but
I'm not a cat person. You were a cat person.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But I'm a people person. I don't own any people.
Well, what about the conversation we were having on the way over?
Oh, I'm dying to know which direction that's going in.
Yeah, we better just drop it.
Yeah. That could get really bad real quick. Pretend like you didn't hear anything.
Let's start the show.
Don't flush the toilet.
You are now tuned in to the Crappy Awesome Podcast.
Welcome to another mildly inappropriate episode of the Crappy Awesome Podcast. We're your hosts, the Diego Brown Project. I go by Mr. Arash, even though nobody calls me Mr. And with me is KILLcRey, even though we'll just call him Chris.
Hey, yo.
I'm so proud of myself. I pulled up my notes just in time.
Just in time
to tell you that we are, of course, brought to you by Platform Collection.
Yeah.
Make sure you go to platformcollection.com and check out the ever-growing hub of content there. Yeah. There's all kinds of music videos and essays. And while you're there, I'm going to get to the radio station in just a second. I'm going to do that last.
It's good.
But while you're there, check out our sibling podcasts. They've been with us on this ride for a while. There's Culture Sessions, hosted by Melathion Archive, produced by Spock Beats. The 2Mex Hologram podcast, still running strong, albeit
new episodes erratic. Coming. New episodes coming consistently.
Absolutely.
Live and recorded.
Ooh. Yeah. Wait, it's no longer a podcast if it's live.
It will be a live broadcast that turns into a podcast.
A broad podcast.
A live cast.
A live cast.
Yeah.
Is it still a chair if you don't sit in it?
Hmm?
Okay. There's Proof of Life Radio, hosted by Kali. Always lonesome.
Kali.
Life on the Road with 60 East.
Yeah.
Really though?
Really though.
With Cookbook of LA Symphony. Orchestrated, hosted by Noah James and Lisa J. Status Escalade podcast, also with Kali.
Yeah.
We got to get him a co-host on one of those, because I don't like saying his name twice.
I think he's better a loner.
Yeah? He's like a lone wolf.
He's a lone wolf.
He's a lone ranger.
Out on the horizon.
He's out there all
searching
alone.
for his freedom.
How's it going with that trip? And of course, the Ghetto Blaster podcast, hosted by Ricochet, and there are other shows on the way.
Yes.
Also, absolutely need to check out 2Mex Hologram Radio, which, every time I talk to you about it, Chris, it's like growing with content and new shows are coming and it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, we got AC, the PD, has a show coming up. What I'm really excited for, which just launched on Saturday, is the LA to the Bay radio show with D-Ski, which is amazing. If you haven't heard it, it's really well produced, really well put. Everything you would expect from D-Ski.
Is it? So what does that one play?
So
the music from California?
No, he's taking it even deeper, and each show has like a theme. Like he's covering one artist. He might cover one artist or cover one event from LA underground history.
Right.
But that's what he's doing. It's so well put together. He has characters.
Nice.
He has voices.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Why is it called LA to the Bay?
Because that was his old label and his old website, LA to the Bay. In fact, that's how I found out a lot about Bay Area music, because I used to go on LA to the Bay, and they would do CD and tape exchanges. Like you could trade.
Okay. But he's not like discriminating against hip hop from the Midwest.
No,
okay.
No.
It's just LA to the Bay.
It was just it was basically the route for distribution at the time that him and Alex and them came.
Yeah. It's like 7-Eleven. It used to be open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, it did, right?
Yeah, but now it's just called 7-Eleven.
Now it has no meaning.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. So anyway, 2Mex Hologram Radio, that's all happening over at platformcollection.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Platform Collection. That is one word, all spelled out. And on Twitter at Platform Collect.
No shun.
With no shun. Shout out to Tor Project, open source privacy platform. go there so that the man isn't watching. Dude, I watched Snowden the other day, or last night. Yeah, that's a scary movie.
It's a scary movie, yeah.
It's terrifying.
There's a lot of creepy shit in that movie.
Yeah. So, if you are familiar with some of that, if you've been paying attention, and if you're a hip-hop fan, there's a very strong probability that you're also a conspiracy theorist.
Oh.
Torproject.org. That's TOR project.org. Check that out.
Yeah.
And a final plug burner podcast that is hosted by yours truly and covers the Burning Man community and culture. At this point, unquestionably the longest running audio program
On the Burning Man.
on Burning Man. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's right.
That's sick.
We are fucking
You should start
pioneers.
someone on fire on your show.
So it's not a real
Like
man.
for the
movement.
50th. Oh, you don't?
No, it's a
Oh, that
statue.
totally changes everything I ever thought.
It's not Wicker Man.
I thought you guys were like half cannibal,
Yeah.
half like acid takers.
No, that's true.
Okay.
We just this thing isn't.
But the burning.
We don't
is
actually
just
burn
a-
an actual man.
Okay.
It's a big.
Well, that's a letdown. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
a
honest
little bit.
with you. Yeah.
Well, you can think about that as you tell them about Stitcher and iTunes.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spreaker,
Speaker.
go over to crappyawesome.com. You can hear every episode all the way back to episode 0, or you can just go to platformcollection.com. And coming soon, maybe already, maybe by the time you hear this, we're already, this show, along with the best of episodes from all the podcasts at Platform Collection, will be played on 2Mex Hologram Radio as well as the late night shows.
Wow.
So when
We're
you're
like a
driving
love
late
line.
night, you know what I mean? You can listen to a dope interview.
Let me tell you what my dream
Yes.
is.
Okay. Let me hear it.
I want to do this. I want to do. We should do like a sex and love advice late night radio show.
A hip hop sex and love advice?
It's not. It's just us.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that there's a rapper doing one of them, I guess,
Yeah.
would make it hip hop.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would like to be like the Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Maybe that could be done. Maybe we
Be
could take
awesome.
some phone calls.
We
once
got to
a
get an
month.
actual doctor on the show though,
Oh.
which we can do.
Well, then why would we need you? If we have an actual doctor.
I'm the eye candy.
And what?
Oh wait, it's the
We
radio.
could get like a good looking doctor, and
It's true.
you shouldn't see.
See, you know what? You're right.
You can't share your ideas like that.
You're right. You
Now,
know what? No,
you
I
got
believe
cut
in the
out of
art.
your own show.
I believe in the art. I say let's do it. I
Yeah.
support it.
We'll just get
We'll start our own
Louden.
show.
He'll take your spot.
Dr. Louden.
Dr.
Dr.
Louden
Louden.
is in.
Yeah, I could start my own show and
It's
I'll
a rash.
give rival advice.
Yeah.
To everything. Like everything you give, I'll give the opposite advice.
Right. You point out that he's wrong at
Yeah,
everything he
yeah.
says. Like
My
no.
entire show is designed around calling you guys out.
Okay.
Even if you're right, I'm going to give the opposite advice.
All right. Well,
You should keep having sex as much as you want without a condom. That's completely okay.
I'll ask 2Mex and see if he's into it.
All right.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you be?
I don't know. It doesn't sound good.
That's a legitimate reason.
Anyways, 2Mex Hologram Radio. You can also check out my show, The Up, every Friday, and replays on Mondays and Tuesdays, because I think you might need like a pick-me-up on Monday.
I think you can still call it the Friday Up.
Nah, it's called The Up.
I like the
It's already
Friday Up.
it's out already.
I liked the Friday Up.
Sorry.
And you're just replaying the show, right? Wouldn't
No,
you like
a
it?
new episode every Friday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So it's the Friday Up.
yeah. It's not though. It's called The Up.
Okay.
So go there now. We're playing a bunch of music. I think this week I played music from the gentleman who's on the show today. So it's popping. Go to 2Mex Hologram Radio. It's an amazing
serious.
thing.
We already said it's loud.
It's exploding. Yeah,
Explosions.
explosions. But Loudon's on the show,
shit.
man.
Yo, what up, what up?
Yeah.
Dr. Louden.
Dr. Louden is in.
Dr. L, Dr. Love.
We were talking that it's been almost a year since you've been on.
I think so, yeah. Right.
What have been the biggest changes within a year?
I dropped my first official solo project.
Just recently.
This
Ooh.
recently,
Yeah.
That was on 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Talk about it a little bit. What's it comprised of? Like who's on it? How'd you make it?
So basically, I've been trying to drop a project since like 2015 or something.
Yeah.
And I have beats from 2015 that I never used still, but
What's trying mean? Like
trying is that
like it was an idea?
it was an idea.
It was an idea.
It was an idea, and I made a few beats for it, and then I just kind of just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Just forgot about it.
What was the idea? Is that what are we hitting? We're in chords over here.
I think it was mine.
No, it was Louden.
Oh.
I see it.
Oh shit!
There you go. Okay.
It was just an idea at first, and then I made some beats. I liked the beats, and then I kind of just forgot about it because I started working on like other projects with other people and stuff, and just got really busy myself and started touring. And
What was the idea? Was the idea specifically to just do a project, or did it have a theme around it?
there was no theme. It was just a beat tape. It was gonna be initially just beats.
Oh, okay. No rappers on it.
No rappers or
Yeah.
anything. In the past 3 years, I was just making a beat here and there, and then I'd forget about it, and then say I was gonna drop it, and then I never would drop it. I was supposed to actually drop it last January.
Just the beat tapes.
Yeah, just the beats and stuff.
But now it came out as almost an EP pretty much, right?
Yeah, now it came out as like an EP album. I'm considering it like an album myself.
Yeah.
Just because it's so, everything sounds the same, and I mixed and mastered everything myself. And
So what was the process of getting those rappers on? Was it literally they just happened to be in the studio and you're like, let's do this? Or
no, I actually had to reach out to each of them. And
who was the toughest
the toughest
to get the song done?
to get the song done?
How great would it be if the answer was Reverie?
Well, actually, Reverie, I'm going to ask her to go on my next project.
Because she's not even on this one, right?
She's not even on this one.
nice.
Was that a conscious decision?
Yeah.
You were just like, I need to do this one on my own.
Well, I kind of like the
I don't
timing.
like you.
Yeah, it
Mad
was
at
like
you right now.
Basically that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But the timing was just off, and I wanted to just release what I had and just to put it out there, just because I kept over and over for years, like, oh, I'm gonna add more, I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna change that. So I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna just drop it.
How'd you know it was done?
I didn't. I just set a deadline. And
You
I
just
was
said
like,
whatever's happened.
whatever I have now, I'm gonna just release it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I gave myself like a 2-week before the drop deadline to cut everything off, like the cutoff time for everything. And then a week before, I mixed it all down and I mastered it and edited it and all that stuff. And then I did the album artwork too myself.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Chris? Because that's like that's something I deal with a lot. My approach is the same as Louden's, which is like, we've got a date. It's moving forward. We're going to do it on this date. No matter what happens, we're pulling the trigger on this date.
Yeah.
Like, for example, for a music video I'm working on right now with a couple of artists, like, we're like, this is our shoot date. Even if the location changes 15 times by then, we're
gonna shoot
shooting
it
on this
anyways.
date.
Yeah.
It's not up for debate.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
But then, like, a lot of people go the opposite direction. They're like, oh, I'll know when I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what I was doing for like so many years, and I was
Yeah.
like, I should have had like 6 projects out already by now. Like if I would have kept if I was thinking like how I was thinking now, like back a few years ago, it would have happened more. But I feel like it's all meant to be like perfect timing and stuff, and I was in the right mind state this year, so I just executed it, and I've been trying to execute a lot of things and different projects I have going on lately. So I said, fuck it, and put it out.
What stops you from executing? Like, what's the biggest things that usually get in the way? Is it just time constraints? Like, I don't have time, or you just get distracted?
It's time constraints, and then I don't feel like, for my personal projects, I felt like it wasn't good enough. So a lot of it was kind of just like self-doubt, like, oh, nah, I don't think this sounds good. Let me make another beat. Let me try this and that. But this past, like, few months, I feel like my production game has been, like, really on point.
Why? Like, what's been happening?
I've just been making, I don't know, I've just been going through, like, a big change in, like, my music and stuff, and career-wise, and just businesses that I have, and I feel like really confident right now about my music. And
Yeah.
The flow state started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I was kind of just like all over the place, like mentally and business-wise, I was just everywhere and shit. And now I feel like I'm more focused, and I just want to keep making music and putting good music out there for everyone to hear and stuff. And I know a lot of people have wanted to hear like a project from me for a while. Like I've made hella projects with so many rappers and like dope songs and this and that and stuff, but I never made anything myself. And I know people like hearing beats and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really thought of that myself, but because I hardly listen to beats myself.
Yeah.
And just never really listen to instrumentals. I have like a playlist on Spotify that's been there for like 2 years.
And what's on it?
It's like old school beats like DJ Premier and Wonder and like, but they're not. It's the same playlist. Like I never really listen to beats. I know a lot of people do. So shout out to everyone bumping them right now. You know.
So do you see that as like a future for you, or is it just something like on your checklist? Like I want to get at least a beat tape out, and then I'll move on to whatever else I want to do.
No, so now since I released that, now it's like fuck, that was super dope. Like my own project.
Yeah.
And shit. And
so now you want to do more.
So now I want to do more, and like I released a video with the project, with Desi Hollow from Oceanside. And that came out fucking dope.
That you guys shot.
Mad Strange shot.
Mad Strange.
And
that's
then
right.
I edited and did all the effects and everything.
Yeah. Because you do most of the effects on the videos, right? That are around you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this though: do you like in making the project and then deciding, because it went from a beat tape to kind of an album, and moving forward, is that what you want to keep doing? You want to just keep making albums? Or will there be a beat tape eventually? Like, do you even want to get into that world? Is that something that interests you really? Or do you, some people like to produce for other artists. Like, that's what they want to do.
It's definitely half and half.
Yeah.
Because, like, for this tape, I did half beats, half songs. And I do want to concentrate a lot on producing for other artists as well. Because I just like making songs with people. And I'm not really, like, a full-on instrumental person. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah.
But so I feel like I'm half and half. So the next project I'm gonna drop is actually the end of the summer. Okay. And it's gonna be like half songs and half beats as well.
And you're already working on that?
I haven't started it, but
but the concept is there.
Yeah, the concept is there, and I have like collabs in mind and just like the style I'm gonna go for and how I'm gonna promote it and stuff and just get it ready and stuff like that.
Do you think that this past year, did you go through lows this past year? Like where you were you felt out of it? Because what was behind the
push to just drop it?
Nah, I mean even before that, like it seemed like there was a conscious decision for you and Rev to start working separately.
Yeah.
What was the conscious and was that like? Were you in a good place when that happened? Like, were you like, okay, I want to start working. I just want to take my time, or were you like, there's a bunch of stuff going on. My head's not in it.
I was in a good place, but I wasn't really in a good place with like music.
Yeah.
Per se.
Why?
Just because I was focusing a lot on the craft itself.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't really worried about like Facebook and Instagram and all that. And like,
the business.
The business side of it. I was more concentrated on learning.
Yeah.
Like learning how to mix, right? Learning how to make graphics and like edit videos and stuff. And just upping my production game. Like I didn't really give a fuck about anything else. Like that was it. I was just in the phase of just like, not relearning, but learning more and like learning how to focus more on the art itself.
Do you feel like, I mean, obviously...
And me and Rev's not working together, like, for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that gave me some time to, like, really figure out, like, some, like, hip-hop stuff and, like, the art itself. And, of course, we're always still working. Like, we're actually working on a project right now.
Yeah.
It's like...
But out to the public, it seemed...
Yeah, out to the public, maybe it seemed like we weren't, but I just, like, the past year, I was just really focused on perfecting everything to like the professional level because I've been making beats for like 8 years now, but I really wanted to step it up, like especially for this project. And I had in mind the project was going to be released like in January this year, so the whole last year I was just prepping, like, and just now I'm like on full throttle.
Yeah. So what? So for this year, do you think people are going to see you back? Well, obviously you and Rev are working on something, so I'm assuming they'll see you guys together again. But are they going to see a lot more of you like solo doing like your solo projects?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have like one in the end of summer I'm gonna drop, and then I want to drop another one like near the end of the year too.
So are you going? Do you plan to like? Do you have a vision of like, okay, like I'm gonna have a label. I'm gonna have maybe a stable of artists that I DJ for. Am I gonna like what is right now? Obviously things can change, but right now
I have a lot of ideas. Like I want to start throwing shows.
Yeah.
With all the artists that I know and that I've worked with in the past and everything.
Yeah.
I want to do. I do want to start my own label.
Yeah.
And a lot of the projects that I'm going to start pushing out are going to be through my label.
Dope.
Like through my distribution and stuff.
What is the Rev has label that she works under, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys, the stuff you've been releasing in the past, you've been doing through her label network?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then now you want to start your own. So, like, what is the advantage to starting another one rather than expanding one that you're already working with an artist on?
Well, I just want my own. So, like, that's her label.
Yeah.
I want my own label to where I could put my own beat tapes and albums out and, like, collabs out, singles out.
Where the only person you're really checking with is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the other artists that I have on the label too as well.
It's not, I mean, this question isn't specifically for you guys, but like in general, when I see like artists that work so closely together, each of them starting their own label, I always wonder like, because my thought personally is always like, let's just put it under the one that we're already working on.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of work. I want to just do less work.
Oh, okay.
But like, I always wonder like, what is the advantage to starting
freedom?
Multiple things?
Yeah, I think it's always freedom.
It's always freedom, yeah.
It's always cool to just have your own shit, you know, like to where no one can tell you what to do, and you can tell yourself what to do.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. Like I want my own shit. Like
So do you start to? Because one of the things that sticks out with how Rev has put together her team is just that. Like she's put a lot of thought behind like the team. Do you plan to, like, are you following the same prototype of, like, man, I probably need to start thinking about putting together team? Because, I mean, at some point, you're the talent, but then you're also the owner, which is very common nowadays. But to actually do both jobs is not as common. Like, because you may go out on a tour for 8 months, and then under your label, there's, like, 5 artists that need to get released.
And record.
Yeah, and you can't put them on hold till you come back. Like, are you starting to give thought to like, man, maybe I need my team as well?
I have thought about that, and I have actually tried working with some other people just to see like how
what gels, right?
And what goes. And so far, it's been cool. Like I've ran into like some like roadblocks, not roadblocks that would stop my productions, and stuff, but just like working with other people.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard, especially if you don't really know them and you haven't known them for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, you know how friends work so like you might have like some ups and downs with that. And I have had some ups and downs with that working with other people, but it's all just part of the whole learning process, and you know who to cut off and who not to cut off. And I don't really give a fuck like about anyone's feelings like in that kind of sense, in that game.
Yeah, in the business side.
In the business side, because you got to be like raw and just like selfish. Yeah, you gotta be sort of selfish.
Yeah,
you know, like, because
no one's gonna take care of you like you.
No one's gonna give you a handout, and no one's gonna feed you, and so you gotta do it yourself.
Well, you gotta be in your lane and have everybody be in their own lanes. And if your lanes coincide, then you've got a successful formula.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like everybody should be looking out for themselves, but deciding to work together rather than just like I am reliant on you. If you're like dependent on somebody, you're already putting yourself in a shitty situation. And them.
That's why, me and Revs get along really good. Like, in that way, like, we have our own lanes. We're creating our own things. And
I would just think that...
we're, like, on the same, like... we have the same vision of just, like, create and just makes dope shit.
This is what you were saying earlier about, like, being sort of all over the place and then figuring, like, fine-tuning. I feel like a lot of getting older and seasoned, getting more experienced... is not about learning new shit. It's about like
mastering your shit.
Mastering shit, but also like stripping away all the shit that's not helping you, like cutting the fat. And I feel like that's what a lot of like getting older is. Like at first you're trying to practice, you know, like 10,000 kicks, but then as you get older, you realize like it's better to practice that one kick 10,000 times. And keep getting better at it. But like I wonder, like, what are some of the lessons that you've picked up in the past year of like the things that you just don't, that are a waste of your time? Like what is
that you don't do anymore?
Yeah, you'd go back to older, the younger version of yourself, be like, yeah, you're going to strip that away. You're going to strip that away. You're going to stop doing that. Stop wasting.
Yeah, or like that wasted way too much time trying to do that thing.
Didn't get you anywhere.
First thought is like complainers.
Yeah.
People that just complain about.
They just slow everything down.
Like just slow everything down and like.
You used to like deal with them more.
I fucking hate complainers. Like I gave you a task, don't fucking complain. I paid you to do that. Don't fucking complain. Like,
especially that one.
I'm gonna take my money somewhere else and find someone that's not gonna complain and give me a hard time. And that's one thing. And then another thing is like,
because if you're a complainer, what you're probably doing is you're also being passive aggressive and not doing the job to the fullest extent that you could be.
Yeah.
Because you want the other person like, feel my pain.
Yeah.
Why aren't you feeling my pain?
Yeah. If you have time, my thing has always been, if you have time to complain, you have time to finish whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing.
Dude, I've literally started email responses like where I'm like starting to explain to the person why this. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me just do it. Like the other night, I was like an album cover thing. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna send you the crappy one. You can see that it looks crappy on your own. Because of the image you provided for me. The low resolution image. Like instead of trying to explain that to you, I'm just gonna, here's what it looks like to you. Is this what you want?
Yeah.
You're saying this
well, I've ran into that too, like editing like an album cover. I'm like, yo, bro, just send me a higher quality picture, and they send me the same thing, like
an Instagram photo,
but another like a picture
cropped
of a phone or something.
72 DPI. Oh god, that's a drain on like every episode of Alkaline. I realized, by the way, there's definitely a market. Like DJs need photographers. Because like every Alkaline's a DJ mix show that we produce on the Burner Podcast Network, and every week they send me some photo that like somebody snapped on their phone that they got off of their Facebook without checking in with them, so they're getting this low-res 72 DPI image
for like the DJ.
Yeah,
with the letters across. Like,
dude, I make the weekly flyers for Crappy Awesome, right? So we've literally had, dude, we're nearing 300 episodes now.
Are we gonna do an event?
I mean, we do.
We've been saying that for years.
So I've done almost 300 digital flyers for Crappy Awesome, and I can tell you, there's a lot of people that need pictures. A lot. Like sometimes you're like, this big artist definitely has like a bunch of pictures.
And if you need pictures, hit up Encrypt.
There you go.
She's in the building.
She's in the building. But yeah, I think it's I don't think a lot of people put that part into work. Like, I mean, I guess they don't. I mean, you've had an extraordinary experience in the music business, right? And it's it was all kind of self-made from in-house, which you guys have done.
It's all in-house, like
right. So you're learning on the job. You know,
everything's been a trial and error.
Yeah, and like we were talking today on the way up. Like I have a list of things where I feel like I should know these things already. You know, like I want to know the ins and outs of this part of the business. I should know these things. And the only reason I'm not, I was checking myself. I'm like, the only reason I don't know these things is because I'm not asking the people who are doing them correctly enough times. And I think that it's, people kind of try to gain the knowledge of just the outside shit. Like if I want to be a producer, I just need to learn how to produce.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to be a working producer. You know what I mean? Like you can make beats and they could be dope and you might slang them to a couple friends here and there. But to have that be your job takes way more than just making beats.
Yeah, it takes a lot more. A lot more.
I mean, you put together an album, which is only like, it would be different if like that's all you were going to do. I just want to put this album out and then I'm done. But you know, like, dude, that's literally a drop in the water of like my entire career. You know, like it's just one
out
little
of hundreds of songs.
Out of hundreds of songs, stuff that will never even see the day of light. Some of it, you know what I mean. So it's not enough just to know how to do the craft, Like none of it's enough.
Yeah.
By itself.
Yeah.
You have to do it all. And it's interesting because still to this day, that's one of the biggest questions. How do you do whatever? Like how do you I want to do what Louden's doing. And that's not one answer.
How do I make a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one answer.
It's never one answer.
Yeah. You were gonna list the second thing that you learned to get rid of.
You say complainers.
Some complainers.
Yeah.
And I learned to how to execute.
Yeah.
You just gotta execute.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that.
What's your trick?
I was doing it, but
elaborate on that. What does that mean? Just execute.
Execute is just do it. Just do it. Like just say fuck it and just do it.
Yeah.
And I was executing a lot like before, like the past year and stuff, like my last projects and stuff like that. But I feel like now I'm just like fuck it, like full throttle. Like I'm getting older now, and I want to just start making more moves and making my career.
Setting yourself up.
Yeah, I'm basically like setting myself up. And
but do you think that whatever was what was stopping you from executing? Were you having too much fun? Was it, what was happening?
I just wasn't.
I mean, you got all these people around you that are like hard workers, throwing stuff out constantly. You're surrounded by it constantly.
And by the way, any outside observer or like listeners might be looking and saying, what the fuck do you mean you weren't executing? You had a work output higher than most people we've seen in the industry for years.
That's the thing that we talk about on the show that I don't think the normal person, even when they're like, a normal person's like, I want to make it in the music business. They have really no idea what that really means because it's not pretty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the pretty thing is on stage, on the record cover, all the shit that goes behind it. Most of the artists don't even really want to do any of that stuff. It's stuff that needs to get done. Like I'm sure you don't want to go to the fucking, go send out a bunch of merch, like all at one time, or, you don't want to have to do all those things. And they're not fun, and they're not glamorous, and nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like, but there's all these, other than the stage and, being on whatever platform, everything else is kind of just it's just hard work. There isn't really anything else,
Yeah, and definitely I'd bet a lot of people be like, what the fuck, this guy's tripping and shit. He's done a lot of shit and this and that. But I feel like myself, I personally haven't pushed myself to like 100%.
Yeah, I think I need to take a second. Hey, yo, I'm stuck in my feelings. First time for the record. Usually I'm acting hoes dressed up in leopard, but nowadays I'm storming in with my hair feathered. So, what you really try to say to me? Hey, yo, I wish a bitch would, but you never get the best of me. But you get the left and the right hook heavily. I'm not a loud mouth, so don't even try to stunt to me. I'd rather find a depth in these situations. Not a violent type, one for conversation. I'd rather create for my motivation. And roll these blunts, keep them in rotation. I try to be balanced, do my meditation. And it's real to muck, my evaluation. No one's safe, stick to dedication. The only way out, with no hesitation. My saga keeps moving like a rolling stone. To the break of dawn. My saga keeps moving like a rolling stone. Out West Coast to the break of dawn.
I think I need to take a minute. I just got so heated, my zone is an oven and you're begging in it. Used to sock fools just for looking funny style, but now I stay away from drama, let the money pile. The old me was too trim for the new you, but if you fuck with the homie, then I'ma shoot through. I used to post in the park looking for fades, but now I kick it like Johnny Cage with J's and shades. An ex-hot head who wanted enemies dead. Now I sit back, relax, and watch them kill themselves instead. It's a suicide, and if I got caught slipping, homie, who would ride? Cause motherfuckers in sunny California will stay shady. On the block making deals like Wayne Brady. I'm in the house paying rent like dues. We could beef or build, either way I'ma stay truthful.
My saga keeps moving like a rolling stone.
So how do you push yourself? I mean, I know you're saying like just fuck it, but so here's the idea. From the idea to your execution, is that the gap you're trying to close? Like I want that to be quicker. Like idea and then execute.
Idea, then execute.
Yeah.
And instead of just sitting on my ideas like I was before. Like
Yeah.
how I said I've been working on that project for like 3 years or something. Like,
Yeah.
it was just an idea, but I should have executed it.
I was just telling our producer Eddie yesterday, because we were having a very similar conversation about like plans for this year. There's a lot of stuff. Like one of the things I learned this last year is I like to have like completed things on the burner, like a lot of them. I like to have like 4 or 5 completed things, not things that I'm working on. I want them to be completed simultaneously. And the only way I can do that is to be executing way more at a higher process.
Yeah.
And I told Eddie, my thing, if I'm being honest with myself, my biggest downfall when it comes to executing has always been the idea that I'm working on something. And what that does is it gives me the excuse to not work on anything else because I'm working on something. Like I've been working on this project.
Yeah.
So I'm not working on anything else, but I'm not working on that project either. Thus, you're not doing anything.
Right. That is actually called functional procrastination.
Yeah, functional procrastination. Yeah. I know it well. And so, like, that was one of the things I really wanted to face last year. Like, I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, if I have the idea, I've given myself 3 days to be working on that idea before I throw the idea out. Like, if it doesn't get you up enough to work on it within the next 3 days, then it's probably not that good of an idea in the first place. Yeah,
I like that.
But it's taken me years to like come up with that, like a process that works for me.
Because you're never going to run out of ideas.
No, you'll never run out of ideas. But if it's not executable, you're not executing it.
Yeah.
Then how hyped are you about that idea? You know, I mean, you started off with making a B tape and ended up making an EP. So the idea completely changed by the time it finally came out. So whatever was the initial idea wasn't exciting you enough until you started you put more into the fucking pot, and all of a sudden it started getting more exciting. And then you put it out, and now you got a taste of that, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, I want more.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I want to release more projects.
Yeah, and the only way you get to that, I think everybody needs to get to that point. That's the healthiest point, completion, because you get to look back and say, this is what I created, and how much did I learn from the process? You're never going to do that process exactly the same.
Right.
Because there's already shit you learned. The next one's already should be easier. You know what I mean? It should be easier, at least maintaining wise.
That's the mistake right there too. This is my personal advice to people. Like, if you're going to do a project, like, go through it from beginning to end. And when I say beginning to end, it doesn't mean just like create the art and then let it sit there. Release it.
Yeah.
Make that agreement with yourself. Like,
if you don't release it, it's not.
The other day I did a YouTube video. I just started doing these. Like, literally, there's only like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But just I set that agreement with myself. Like, this is going up. Like, no matter what I look like. And I just had like wisdom teeth surgery. So my cheeks are all puffy. I was like medicated and all out of it. I'm like, no, we are pulling the fucking trigger. I'm not.
You should have made the voice talk like a squirrel. That
I
would have
look
been
like
tight.
a fucking squirrel. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
like,
I've done that too. Like, and I'll be like, nah, I'm not gonna release it.
Right.
And then he like, oh, I'll just do it next week when I feel better.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
I don't do it.
But but there's things that I
Next
learned.
week never comes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's things I learned from just going through the process of uploading the goddamn video.
Yeah.
That I would not have learned.
And that you probably thought was harder than it was.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I was
big.
like, oh, okay. It looks like I gotta check in with Wi-Fi. That's gonna upload it faster. And then like I can't immediately start recording my next video on my phone because my phone's already full. So I got to upload this one and delete all the space before I go to the next one.
Yeah.
So and then once it's up, you got to make sure the notes are on there correctly. You got to make sure like you're getting a playlist on there. Like there's all these steps that you're gonna go through that are impossible to know ahead of time. Everybody's saying, oh, I did the video. See, okay, it's fine. It's easy.
Yeah.
Got to go through it.
The most of the time, the idea of work is more overpowering than the actual work.
Right.
It's just the idea of like, I gotta and I've told people this a lot. Sometimes it's literally just powering up your computer. Like that process takes too long. I fucking hate doing that. You'll make the smallest things big ideas in order to block that idea that you're trying to execute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll be like, if you know what, I'm not going to work on this video till I get a faster computer. Yeah. But you can work on it right now. But there's
ways.
Yeah,
there's
you
ways.
logically tell yourself like, well, when I get the faster computer, I'll just knock it out like that. And no, you won't because you haven't practiced that way of executing. So when it finally comes to your face, you're just going to do what you've always done.
Dude, let me ask something. Because you've been mentoring quite a few people on getting podcasts started.
Yeah.
And I've been mentoring people on like in the burner community on getting podcasts started. And I wonder, because you're dealing with actual musicians who already have microphones and stuff.
Yeah.
What I've been getting a lot is people really obsessing about what sort of mic they should buy. And literally spending like a year shopping for mics. I'm like, just buy a fucking test cam and just like start recording. I don't even care test it. Just start doing it on your computer.
Yeah.
Just start recording audio.
That's definitely an excuse.
Yeah. And then like a year has gone by.
I've like way back when I think I would use the same shit. Like, oh, it doesn't sound like I want it to sound.
Yeah.
Instead of like learning the craft and just because that's the only way.
Yeah.
Like especially like with mixing or mastering, dude, it's your ear. Yeah. Like it's the frequency, it's your ear, and it's your taste.
Yeah.
So a frequency has to match certain playback devices, right? You want it to sound optimal, but the overall sound of it is literally you.
Yeah. Have you heard Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast? I don't know if this is still the case.
Oh, it sounds like shit.
It sounded like shit.
A lot of the biggest ones sound like shit.
Oh, it was awful. I'm like, did you record this with a flip phone?
Yeah.
Like, what? How does it sound this bad?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just set up a mic in the middle of a room and just started talking. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Content is important.
Even when I recorded Rev's first project, Castle in the Air, we used a $15 karaoke mic from Radio Shack.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah, we didn't make no excuse. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it, let's use this mic. And then like we stepped up to like $80 mic.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
And then it just keeps going.
It keeps going. But
Yeah.
like, just like that guy in that podcast, like he probably just was like, fuck it, I know I could record with this.
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah.
It's gonna sound good, and it's, even though it sounds like shit, like it's just all about just not
I also feel like
pull the trigger.
Don't you guys feel like also though, like nowadays I feel like people are more used to seeing something develop in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you can I've seen many rappers where you'll see them just literally grow in front of your eyes. Like they're literally probably should not even be putting shit out.
Yeah.
And they're already putting out things because they do either something like a lot of it nowadays is like video makers. And I want to ask your opinion on this because you produce videos, you produce content, you know, like you've been behind the other side of watching a video get put together. Yeah. And nowadays it seems like there's a large contingency of young people who know how to really use a camera. Everyone, I mean, there's 4K under $500 now.
Yeah.
You know, so you could do 4K. There's stabilizers that are under $1,000 now that are like amazing. And so if you have all those things, your shit is going to look really well packaged. But occasionally you'll see artists like that, and the only thing that is put together is the package. And the artists are still developing, but I also feel like the audience is okay with that now. Yeah. Like, because I was just talking about this with, we were talking about this with Nat Z. Nat Z was on the show. Mm-hmm. And we were saying that, like she was saying like mumble rap, I hate mumble rap, blah, 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 whatever, right? Yeah. And Arash and I were like, well, I think the big issue isn't that mumble rap sucks, it's that you're calling mumble rap.
Yeah.
And if we just had another name for it, I bet you nobody would have problems with it. Like they just do this other thing. Like this is some new thing. Yeah. But because you put rap on it, all the critics who rap are like, well, that doesn't sound like rap I know.
It's like tuna flavored ice cream.
Yeah.
Don't even call it ice cream.
Yeah, you could just call it something else.
Tuna flavored dairy cream.
Yeah. And I think
that's fucking disgusting.
I think a lot of the times.
Gross.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, that sounds pretty gross. I know there's sardine ice cream, by the way.
Oh. They have some super weird flavors in Japan.
Yeah. I think that's where I saw it on a Vice commercial.
Yeah.
But I think that it's interesting to see like these kids put out high quality. I mean, I just saw some kids shooting like skate videos in my neighborhood the other day, and they had like a full on like production.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were little kids, dude. Like they probably got dropped off there.
Yeah.
And they have like all these cameras and steady cams, and they're like following the skaters, and I'm like, what I'm literally looking at like $9,000-$10,000 worth of equipment out here. Yeah. And they're putting it on their YouTube page. I talked to one of the kids. I saw his YouTube page. He's getting 200-300 hits.
Yeah.
But the production quality is through the roof. So if production quality is already not something that people are necessarily competing for anymore because everybody has it,
right?
Then it's like Spotify, right? When Spotify first came out, everybody's like, oh, I'm on Spotify. Dude, we're all on Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm on Spotify. You're on Spotify. Everyone's on Spotify.
I can tell you this. As an artist, this has been the most life-affirming epiphany that I've had on the journey is that, yeah, production quality, dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You can make shit look cool. There is enough technology. It's accessible enough. You can make shit look and sound cool.
YouTube University.
Right. It's super easy. The technology is, you can download, like if you're, if you want to make videos, or if you're doing photography, you can download presets that'll make your shit look legit. Like you can do all of the, dude, on fucking Instagram.
People sell presets. Yeah. Encrypt sells presets, right?
What I'm saying
is,
she has
a preset.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy. What has emerged from this process, though, is that people are looking for sincerity, like real, something that touches your heart.
Right.
Something that captures this moment in history, that captures an experience for you.
Even more so that they're willing to sacrifice quality.
Yes.
Like people, again, that's why when I see a lot of the hip hop out of the South, I understand what people are resonating with. Mm-hmm. They feel like, well, at least it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I could get on the video and see this kid is actually in a gang and he's actually doing these things. That's real. I'd rather have that than this package shit that they give me on the radio, where they're telling me I have to think that it's real and I know it's not real. Nowadays, you can tell. You know what I mean? Like, you can... 50 Cent isn't a billionaire.
About the Southern shit. Like, a lot of it's like raw. Like
it's as raw as you can be. You know,
but it's speaking past it. You know what it is? I remember very clearly. I was sitting at like a park bench and I was thinking about photography. I'm like, I've spent so much of my life trying to like develop my craft, and then now you just have an Instagram filter and you can do the same thing. Because at that time,
or the new iPhone.
Right. Because at that time, I was doing those kind of things. I was doing more like looks and filters and lighting and stuff. But then I kind of dropped all that, and I had this moment, literally thinking about like, no, like the real photography that people respond to, it's looking not just at the image, it's looking past the image.
Yeah.
It's looking at the ones and zeros,
the narrative
behind reality, rather than just here's a snapshot.
Yeah.
Because anybody can do just a snapshot. But what is it about this one? What is it about, like, for example, in Crip's photo, you know, from a certain angle that somehow captures this vibe and feeling that the other 25 photos that I just looked at on Instagram don't capture.
Right. It's something you can't really teach. You can't teach that part.
Yeah, you can't teach that.
Yeah.
It's like you can't teach talent.
But it is confusing though.
Yeah.
You know, it is definitely confusing. And I tell you what it does affect is it affects the business side. I remember like 4 years ago, we had Esteban Oriel on the show. He's a famous photographer.
Yeah.
He's going to be on again soon, and
he barely knows how to use his camera.
Yeah, but he was complaining already back then. I remember we were talking to him after the show, and he was just like, "Man, it's hard to get work. I'm a director and filmmaker, and the budgets used to be there." And he's like, "The budgets aren't there anymore." He's like, because somebody has a 4K camera, and they're shooting videos for $100.
Right.
And you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to put this craft into it. I'm going to shoot it on film for you. I'm going to do all this. And they're like, well, can I just get the same thing and quicker over here? Yeah, probably. But it doesn't have the...
Yeah. That's why you switched to using digital.
Yeah, because it's at the end of the day, how do you compete? How do you introduce quality food to everybody if you can get a cheeseburger for 99 cents?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're talking about other issues. If people aren't educated enough, are being able to reach the education to know that, oh, I could eat just as good if I know where to go.
No.
But that's not what's being publicized. What's being publicized is how quick can we get it to you? So people are steady making cheeseburgers in hip hop all day. Like they're just like, yo, just throw it out. Here's the formula. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody wants a cheeseburger, though, hey.
There's a place. There's a place for it. You know what I mean? When I'm
sure Louden's made some cheeseburgers.
Dude, the whole reason...
He's like, yeah, I made some cheeseburgers. Sometimes you just got to get paid.
The whole reason I even made the show The Up on...
The Friday Up?
Formerly known as The Friday Up, was because the whole concept behind it is that I play music that I feel could be played in the club, but none of it's being played in the club. Like, it's all literally just underground music. But I'm like, yo, I have friends who turn up, and they make turn up music that maybe might not be talking to the things that you guys are used to. It might be a little deeper, but you can for sure play this in the club. You know what I mean? Like, it has all the elements. And so that what I'm trying to do through that is, like, if you're eating at Cheeseburger every day, I'm just going to show you where the store is that you can get a bunch of shit for 99 cents and eat just as good. And that's what's not happening. You know, we don't really have anybody doing that because of the competition. There's too much competition. Like, if somebody told me today, like, yo, I want to be a video director because I want to be rich, it's probably not a good path. You know what I mean? Like, not right now. Like, you got a long road ahead of you. You got a long road.
Yeah, if someone were to tell me that, I would think that, and then I would think that there is a possibility, but if you approach it like that, it's kind of like, it's like when I've worked with like a few people, like a few rappers, and then they're like, oh, I thought I was gonna get famous in like 2 months. Like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like,
do you have rappers that think they're gonna get a level of fame by just working with you? Like, do you have that happening?
I don't know.
Have you ever sensed it where, like, I kind of feel like this guy just wants... That's reverie into that.
I actually have,
Yeah, they just want
they're like,
they want your tag on their song. Yeah.
Like, and then they've like said like that shit, like, oh, I thought I was gonna get famous in 2 months. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, how come you didn't?
Which, by the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's the business.
Yeah.
Like, that's why people were paying Timbaland like the money they were paying just to have him, like,
Yeah.
Rodney Jerkins yelling some shit over the beat.
I'm sure at this point,
It's so like wrong way of thinking. Though.
absolutely,
I agree.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
you can't fucking get famous in 2 months unless you do like some really crazy shit that you know will get you famous. Like, fucking, I don't know.
And that fame is not going to last.
Yeah, it's not gonna last unless you keep doing crazy shit.
Yeah, some people fall into that though.
You got to keep up with the crazy shit that you're doing.
What about
figure it out? You know?
What about Instagram? Like, you can see a bunch of crazy all day if you just look on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is a great collection of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm like, you have 14.7 thousand followers. What do you do? Like, she's like just like a waitress.
No, dude, the one I don't understand again. And we talked to Nerve about this. I think
Girls showing their butts?
I think no, that's just I don't even know how to explain that. I don't know what that is. But like the competition for likes when you don't necessarily do anything of relevance, you know what I mean? Or artistically maybe. Like, I am all for, if you're getting money, get your money. I hope you're doing it with integrity.
Get your money.
But I also understand what it's like to be hungry. So if you're getting your money, I get you. But if you're like, I'm going to be famous, I want to be famous. Because, dude, they've always said, if you want to pick between fame and rich, pick rich.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's way less problems. You know what I mean? Fame is something that is fleeting. Always. It's always fleeting. The moment you put something out, the less popular it gets over time. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, people knock out one of those strange ones. But for the most part, it starts to lose its value to people over time. That's why everybody's trying to make music that's timeless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's always the goal. I want you to be able to bump my music forever. It's always the goal. But reaching that is a challenge. You know, and it's just not going to happen for everybody. And I think that when people are making music nowadays, I think a lot of like formula stuff, like when I hear like formula, like what's that? Like, the formula should just be you, right? Like, you're your formula. Like, you can't take somebody else's formula. Because there's so many reasons why it works for them. Yeah. And most of them are things that they possess that you don't really have.
Yeah, that they created themselves.
Yeah, that they created themselves, that completely came from their brains.
You could try to copy it and mimic it, but it's not going to make you famous.
I got to think at this point, you and the collective that you run with, it would be naive to say that there's not people around you that want something. You know what I mean? Because it's just the nature of people. You know, and it may not even.
Most people want more.
Yeah. More.
I want more. I want everything. I want $1 million.
Yeah.
But I know I have to work to get there.
Yeah, you're willing to put in the work, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, if you're on Instagram and you're like, I'm just pretty, and that's my gift.
Yeah.
And you have like 200,000 followers, and then you start to monetize that, right? Like, you're like, oh, that's right. These brands pay me if I say this about this brand or this about that brand because I have an audience. So I'm really, if you built your audience on something like beauty, how relevant do you think that is?
Yeah.
Like, because it may be. To me, the people on Instagram are proving that it's a viable way to make money. There's people that are literally making money by just being pretty. You're just pretty. You don't act. You don't sing. You don't do anything. You don't talk. You just put pictures of yourself, and occasionally.
How does that play out when it starts to fade?
Well,
It's gotta be rough.
I would think, right? Like, I would think that the first group of people who started that on Instagram, right? They all washed out. They all washed out because that shit goes away. So I would think Instagram has been around long enough for people to apply some science to it.
Yeah.
And they know now, like, I can get in and get out. In fact, I was talking to No Can Do, and he was saying that he knows a bunch of girls who approach Instagram in that way. I'm pretty. I'm a model. I'm going to make as much money off of this as I can and then flip it into whatever. I want to be...
It's like stripping your way through college.
Houses. Yeah, it's the new stripping your way
It's the
through
new
college.
stripping way through college.
Yeah, it's the digital Instagramming your way through college.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and now, dude, we've built a corporation around, or multiple corporations around YouTube likes.
Yeah.
There's huge companies.
Yeah, there's huge
Huge
YouTube
companies.
They're making millions a year.
Yeah, because everybody wants. So, at what point do they lose? Well, we already know that. A lot of the times it loses value. Like, there is no value behind everybody's 10,000 followers. Some people's 10,000 followers, there's a lot of value. You can tell those. That's the thing. You're not even fooling anybody anymore, right? But you're still doing it because I don't need to fool everybody.
Yeah.
I just need to fool a few of you, because a few of you will buy whatever I put out because you fall for the numbers. Mostly, it's people who want those numbers. You know what I mean? And so if people can get close to you, like you, if somebody can go, oh, well, I'm sure there's a kid that's going, in fact, maybe we can help you out right now. Look, kid, the kid that's at home right now,
Listen, kid.
that's thinking about emailing Louden
Stupid ass kid.
to have him do a video and a track, and you're going to pay him for that.
You're gonna be a famous kid.
Go ahead and do that. But if you think that that's the way to get at Louden's level, like you're just going to steal his shit, that's never going to happen.
Don't be a dummy kid.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
They're just wasting your money.
That's good, yeah. Either way, it's good for your paycheck, though. I mean, you get still charged that premium fee.
But I've been not wanting to work with people like that lately. And like,
What is your agreement? Like, do you enter?
I just don't really fuck with people that are just like leeches and like just like shady.
How do you sense that?
This all the years in this business,
Yeah.
I've learned to like sense that and
To know who's who.
I've been around thousands of different people from all over the world,
Yeah.
and I just know who's who.
Can
now,
you-
And I could really sense like who's really bullshitting,
Yeah.
and trying to be fake, and like
Is there like a specific example you could give?
Well, not
Like
naming anybody, right?
No, obviously not. No. But I mean, like
the one
certain
from earlier
characteristic.
about like the guy who said he was gonna,
Oh, he's gonna
get
get
famous. Like that's
Yeah.
a good example.
Yeah.
Did he kind of like blame you? Like, did it seem like he was putting some blame towards like, hey, I thought your beat was gonna make me famous. I thought this video was gonna make me famous.
For a second, I think so. Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Because they
Maybe
probably
a
really
little
do
bit.
think that's how it works.
Maybe he really did. Yeah, I'm sure that's
Yeah.
how he really did.
And that
think
you're
that's how
holding
it
back
works.
somehow. Like, you could be doing
Yeah,
more.
Like,
How come you're not asking Reverie to share the video all day?
yeah, or something like. Yeah, I've had people ask me that too. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Why
Yeah.
don't you ask her yourself?
Yeah,
Like,
why don't you
the
just
fuck?
pay her?
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna fucking be your messenger boy. But
Oh my god.
I've just learned how to just read people about like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff because
Intuition.
a lot of people want to be famous and like hang out with famous people.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't really care. But I know people do a lot, and like they'll like really try hard,
Yeah.
to fake their way through things, and
Yeah.
so
The
I've
fake
learned
it till
how
you
to-
make it thing.
Yeah, fake it till you
It's
make it.
very fleeting because I think
Yeah.
didn't
And
the
some people are
web
good
just
at
get
it.
rid of it?
Yeah. That concept doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
That's I'm thinking about that right now. I
You
don't. I
could
really
check
don't
it
think it's
out now.
effective anymore. Like
Yeah.
sincerity is what works. Be honest, because we've seen all the behind the scenes. We've read all the biographies. We know what it looks like. It's no longer a secret what sorts of tactics people in previous generations used to get to where they are,
Yeah.
and how those tactics are no longer effective.
What's the book we're always talking about that people read and they think they can do business? The law 15 was it
The 48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, you read that and dude, there's nothing that makes me
Which
angrier
I
when
read-
I know that somebody's trying to do one of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah.
Like I know the book, dude.
Like,
Yeah.
use-
Yeah.
Have you guys read that book?
Yeah.
I read that book
Yeah.
too.
This thing is, it's got great. I haven't read the whole thing. I read, like, sure, it's got great advice. But like
Yeah.
the guy who wrote it, I want to say I was reading about him recently. Like he actually, admittedly, I think, was in a very dark place in his life.
Yeah.
and was like applying Machiavellian tactics.
Yeah, because it's
to,
more about like
business.
crushing your enemy
Yeah.
and controlling your surroundings.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
with that book, I've learned to see people that are trying to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I think
That's
that's
like
I think
that's
it's
the best
important.
way to use that kind of.
That's
knowledge.
great advice, dude.
That's
And
smart.
I've
Know your
met
enemy.
People, yeah, learn your enemies
Yeah.
basically, and like I've met people and
Yeah.
cut people off. I'm
Isn't
like,
it-
motherfucker? Like,
Isn't it?
I
It's
saw
gross,
that
right?
coming,
Like it's weird when you could see them starting to like. They'll even quote shit from the book
Yeah,
or be
yeah.
like,
I'll give you an
And I'm
example.
like, what are you doing?
Give you an example.
Yeah.
Dude. In dear, seriously.
That's okay.
It's the dog. In my office, I had
She's fine.
a colleague that I was working with.
Yeah.
And I would catch her trying to pull like tactics that I knew immediately that I'd read like in a GQ article of like, this is something you do in order to show people you have power over them.
Yeah.
Like glaring at people, or like sitting at your desk and glaring at them from over your glasses is like a tactic to make people feel small.
Yeah.
And I remember like I'd have these interactions with her. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing there with your glasses? Stop that. Like the other time,
it means
one
you
time,
can't be bothered by their ideas.
silly. The one time she
Yeah.
came by my desk, right? And she's like, hey, what are you working on? And I'm like, oh, just blah, 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 blah. And I remember like I explained it to her. And then she leaves, and I remember immediately after I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I fucking explaining myself to her? She has no power over me.
But that's a tactic too.
Yes, the tactic is instead of saying, how are you doing, you drop by and you say, what are you working on?
Right.
So it
that-
immediately puts people puts you on a defensive, like, oh shit, what am I working? I can explain myself.
And you immediately start revealing.
Right. So then I remembered that issue of GQ where they described that. And so they're like, how do you answer that? The answer is you just say, oh, this and that, what do you need? So the next time she dropped by, she did that. Hey, what are you working on? A little bit of this and that, what do you need? She's like, she like short-circuited.
Yeah.
Not expecting
She
that.
probably didn't get to that chapter yet. That was the next chapter. She's like, shit.
She tried it one more time. Came by my desk. What are you working on? A little bit of this and that. What do you need? Silence.
Yeah.
She's like, nothing. And then walks away. I remember she was like looking at me like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. This is
Yeah,
supposed to
I
work.
always know when somebody's like a fresh reader of the book.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to apply it. Like it's big in rap.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
big in
yeah,
rap. I've met a lot of rappers where I'm like, okay, you must have just read. You probably read the 50 Cent version too, by the way.
What's the 50 Cent version?
The 50 Laws of Power. It's basically the
50,
same
okay.
fucking thing, just
Really?
translated into the
50 Cent
for the
talk?
hip hop community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he adds an extra.
What is one of the things that you've noticed? that people pull?
The negotiating stuff, like people, like okay, like say like I go to a promoter, right, and with an idea, I'm like, yo, I want to do this show. Would you guys like to? Would your brand like to host it or whatever, right? I know before I go what's at the disposal of the promoter.
Yeah.
Because you should know that before you go to a promoter.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to, like, some dude who's like, I'm a promoter. Okay, yeah, I want to, can you book,
LL Cool J.
No, yeah. And they're like, they don't even have that kind of access, you know? They throw parties.
Yeah.
There's a difference,
Right.
you know? And,
Any dude with a backpack full of flyers.
but when they start to go, so when they're at that level and then they're like, okay, so what do the numbers look like? And I'm like, do you even know it? Like, do you know what are you asking?
Which numbers?
Yeah. That's what I do now.
Yeah.
Like, I make them explain everything they're asking me. Otherwise, I'm not going to answer.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to throw out. And what they're hoping is you just throw out all this information and that they can find a weakness in it and exploit it.
Right.
And if they can't find that, one of the biggest tactics is they'll attack the idea overall.
Yeah.
If they can't find a weakness in it, they'll be like, oh, that's cool, dog. But, you know, what I like to do, like, okay, man, just say yes or no. Like, you know what I mean? Which most of the time, they're doing the work for me because I'm just like, I don't have time to.
Well, you ask this. When they
I don't want to have drama.
When they say something like that, when they say something like, what do the numbers look like? Mm-hmm. See, my first thought would be like, God damn it. I'm completely wasting my time with this meeting.
Yeah.
Is that your thought? Or are you like trying to figure
most of the time I know I'm not going to work with that person.
Yeah. So you're just going to be polite and finish the meeting?
Dude, if they're asking what the numbers look like,
yeah.
like that means you've literally done no research on any of this. You're the promoter. What are your numbers anticipating?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're like, well, what are your numbers? My numbers, like say we book, I don't know, Pigeon John. It's online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what his numbers are. Like, we need to know what your numbers are like. What's the split going to be like?
Yeah.
Well, what are you working with? Like, you never give an answer. Like, you never really give it. You let them try to keep showing more and more and more and more until it's so sweet for you that you take it. And that's one of the oldest tactics.
Eventually, like, are you retarded?
That's Suge Knight.
Are you retarded?
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
Yeah, like I always call it the Suge Knight routine.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to act like why? If we're gonna work together, why are you trying to like intimidate or be hard?
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to work? Why would I want to work with you? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You're just making it awkward as fuck.
Yeah, like you're a boss.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? You're working at a club.
Yeah.
You're not your boss.
That's exactly the shit that's still holding us back.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's all those fucking movies. Louden, I have a question for you. Has your approach to creating music changed in the past year versus like when you first started? Like where you start, where your thoughts start? Do you start with the drums? Do you start with the synth?
It's different. It's the same, but it's every time it's different. Basically, like there's no.
What do you produce on mostly?
Right now, I'm messing with the Ableton Live.
Ableton Live, and that's kind of new for you, right?
Yeah, that's new. I just started fucking with that like a year ago.
Yeah.
And now
are you a fan?
Yeah, I'm a fucking huge fan.
Were you on FL before?
I was on Reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reason.
So give some people sell it for people. What are some of the things you like
Ableton is like Fruity Loops for the Mac.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of time stretching.
You can do the same exact shit in Fruity Loops that you can. That you could do on Ableton.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a better way to understand
it. So, like, you could record, like, people record songs in Fruity Loops. And, mix down the whole songs and everything, and you could do that in Ableton.
I think that's what Bobby Butcher was doing.
Yeah.
He was mixing. I hadn't seen anybody, like, actually mix in Fruity Loops, and he was mixing in Fruity Loops.
Yeah, you could create whole songs, and Fruity Loops is dope, too. I never used it, but I used it a few times to try it out, but...
What are you using to trigger?
Just a MIDI keyboard. I just have a 49-key MIDI keyboard, and I just play the drums out on that and the piano and everything else to play the samples out.
So everything you've made, like within the last year, has been Ableton?
Yeah, Ableton.
Oh wow,
Ableton.
That's different.
Yeah, that's big.
It's really different. Like it's expanded my I was using Reason for a while, and it was That's another thing that I've grown to realize too, like to utilize your tools around you that you have available to you. Because,
and there's a lot of them.
Reason was holding me back.
Yeah,
for sure. It was
In what
holding
way?
me back. There was not a lot of like options you can do with Reason. Like, there's no time stretch. You can't record vocals. Like, they only have like certain plugins that you can use.
Yeah,
it's only specific for their platform. That's a huge thing. Like, and Ableton has like everything. You can do anything you want in Ableton. I could do any,
it translates to a lot of the different programs too.
And any idea I could think of, I could make it happen now. And Reason, I couldn't. And I was on Reason for like 5 or even longer. Like that was maybe like 7 years.
How long was your learning process for Ableton?
Just about to ask that.
Ableton, maybe about like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I started like really like last January, I really started getting into it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like really feel like confident with it. I know how to use every part of the program now, and I could do a lot of stuff.
And it's just giving you more tools overall.
And there's so many more tools. Like my beats have become way more complex, and now I can have plugins that I could buy and make new sounds with and stuff like that. And
For your album, did you have most artists in studio, or were you sending back and forth?
everyone I recorded.
You recorded in studio?
In studio, yeah.
So what was that process like? Was it the same for everybody? Or do people have their different like rituals or different things they like? Like I'm always wondering like how producers handle people's like comfort level.
Most of the first song, I think I recorded it with, it was the Desi. Oh no, yeah, it was the Desi Hollow song.
Yeah.
And he came through with his homie Daniel, Mad Strange, he's the one who shot the video for that song. Mm-hmm. And we were just chilling. I was just like, yo, I hit him up like, oh, your shit's dope. And I got some beats that come through from our project if you want. And then they came through and I just had like a shitload of beats. And I just showed him the beats. And it's basically just get to work. Like, that's how I approach it. Like most people just want to get to work, especially if they're traveling far.
Yeah.
And like, personally, for me, I just like to get the shit done, like, and then chill after, you know?
Yeah. So are you like careful at the beginning to not like let the chill time go too long, or are you trying to keep an eye on that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always like, all right, like I'll try to like initiate something.
Let's go.
Yeah, right. Oh wait, check out this beat real quick. Or, like, change up the conversation to the music more.
And Gavlin and Save Yourself, they're on the same one, right?
Yeah, they came through one day, and I think I made the beat on the spot. Like I had the drums laid down, and then I changed up the sample.
Yeah.
And then we recorded it. They wrote the song right there.
Right
on the
there.
spot. Yeah. Oh, and everyone wrote the songs on the spot too.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we were chilling. Like,
was that intended? Like you wanted them to, or they just nobody came with? Did anybody come with verses and then go like, oh, I'm just gonna write something new?
Nah,
they all came open.
Everyone came open. And
that's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, I just thought of that right now. Yeah, everyone wrote in the studio right there on the spot.
Vel too?
Vel too, yeah.
Yeah.
Vel too, Oblime too.
All right, tell us the secret, man. Who's the quickest?
Blimes was the fastest.
I would believe that. Because she could probably freestyle her verse if she wanted to.
She was actually the fastest to record.
Yeah. She's very polished.
Actually, me and Val have a project coming out too.
Yeah?
Yeah, just me and her. And we've been working on the songs already too. And there's like 5 songs total so far.
That's a big scoop, man. You sure you're not going to get in trouble for that? Are you sure you're not going to get in trouble for that? That's a big scoop. You just dropped it right now. Louden and Vel coming out with a project.
Yeah.
Is it coming out this year?
This year, yeah. It's going to be, I think, in like the next few months, actually.
So
exclusive.
Dude, okay. So that's pretty interesting. So what has been the difference just on the superficial level of working with Reverie to Vel? What's the difference? Are the personalities different? Like, is the process of working with them different?
I think it's just work. Like, I like to get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever I work with, they have to like to get shit done too.
Yeah.
And that's where like the whole like I don't like working with fucking complainers and people that
excuses.
Foot draggers.
people that make excuses and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Val doesn't make no excuses. Like Revs doesn't.
Yeah.
All the people on my project didn't make an excuse.
Yeah.
Like,
That's awesome.
and the people I'm working with now, like they don't make excuses either. Like I just have learned to separate myself from all that bullshit because it only drags you down, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're closing your circle of people that you are working with? Like you're starting to like be way more cautious with who you work with?
I feel like I'm not closing it. I wouldn't use the word close, but I am more cautious of who I'm working with.
Yeah.
And who wants to work with me.
So tell people, like, if they are approaching you for work, what should they expect?
If you're approaching me for work, expect work.
Yeah.
Like, and just like, don't bullshit. I hate people that bullshit. Like,
Yeah. You want the song done.
I just fucking hate bullshitters. And like, if I sense any bullshit, I just won't fuck with you.
Yeah.
I won't respond.
Yeah.
I won't respond. Like, I don't care.
Oh, man, there's probably somebody listening right now going like, no wonder.
If you're
Fuck.
if you're bullshitting with me, I'm not gonna fucking be fake and be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
You took 6 months to respond. Like, nah, dude. Like,
Dude, Vel has put out some like very like different sounding music over her last few projects. How is this one going to be even more different? Are you guys going different again?
yeah, there's some dope. I wish I had like a fucking preview or something, but
Well, it's okay. You can send it to us afterwards. And you can play it on the show.
I don't know. I have to talk with Vel.
Yeah.
There's some dope.
Good play though, Raj.
48 Laws of Power. No.
Oh, you don't want to play it? That's probably not good. That's why.
It's probably kind of whack anyway. I know.
If
It's
it
all
was
good.
dope, you give it to us.
Whatever. But those songs are coming out really dope, and I'm excited for that project too.
Okay, so far it sounds like you got your project you just dropped. You drop another one in summer.
Yeah.
The one
Another
with
one in the
Vel
summer.
will come out
Vel, I'm
in
not
between
sure
all
the-
that stuff, right? Somewhere around.
Somewhere around that
And then
time
you're dropping another one at the end for you.
for me, yeah. And then I'm working with Reverie on her new one too as well.
Wow.
And I think that's dropping. Like,
That's
in
full
the
plate,
summer or
man.
something.
That's a full plate.
You should work
And
more.
then I have like a.
You can't take
and then-
nobody else on. You gotta tell them to come back next year.
And then I have like side projects that I'm doing for like commercials and like
Yeah,
videos and like
nice.
movies,
I remember the
YouTube
last time
channels
you
and stuff.
talked, you were really trying to get into that world more.
Yeah, and I am. I definitely am. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm pushing my way in there slowly. Like it's a whole different ballgame. So it's kind of like you got to build up your resume
Yeah.
for that. Like I've built up my resume with songs and stuff a lot,
But now you're doing
like like that. I don't know.
commercial production.
Commercial production.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's just another
Yeah,
ball game.
it's a whole nother ball game. Yeah, it's always interesting. I have a few friends that write for publishers, and so they construct entire songs based on like a list of upcoming movies. Like the publisher will get upcoming movies and be like, "Well, just here's the themes of these movies. There's I seen the outline. There's like a breakdown of the outline, and then you just start writing, and then everybody submits music." And I've always found that like really interesting. Like it must be a fun, challenging thing.
Yeah.
I don't know
hard.
Because you get to keep the song afterwards.
But that's
too.
the thing. Like I think it's really like I don't know from a writing standpoint if I want to do it. As a production standpoint, I think that would be fun because you can try to match your emotion, like the emotions of whatever you're like. Scoring is something I've always wanted to do. Like I would love to score something, but writing wise, I don't know if I want to write for them. You know,
It's really challenging. Like,
Yeah.
like right now, I'm working on like some Mexican, like Spanish '90s hip hop
wow.
infused rock
Yeah.
beat. So it's kind of like it's been pretty difficult to do, but I'm getting it.
And that's for what, like a
challenge.
YouTube thing or?
I think it's for like a YouTube channel or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and so like it's just different stuff like that. Like, or I'll make like an EDM track,
Yeah.
and like everyone.
You have some background in that though, right? You've done that before, no?
Yeah, I've made a few,
Yeah.
but
Do you
it's
like
not
EDM?
really- yeah, I love
Yeah.
EDM music. Yeah, I love fucking going to
Shit,
raves.
man, that's
and,
where your
like,
money's at.
With
You're a producer of that world.
That shit would be dope. I want to start making more tracks like that.
I mean, there's a lot more.
well, we're talking EDM. Like,
hip-hop-based
what are we
DJs.
hearing though? Like, what kind of music specifically? Like progressive house, like darker techno stuff.
I honestly don't know how to distinguish those genres. but
Yeah.
I just know it's like
You just like it.
EDM. And it
Yeah.
Can you
sounds
give
like,
an example of an artist?
It sounds like this.
Deadmau5.
Shut up.
The whole time the same bass. Doof, doof,
Yeah.
doof, doof, doof.
Yeah, but
As the lifelong electronic dance music fan here in the room.
fuck you both.
Deadmau5 is a huge influence on me.
Okay.
For sure. That's
Okay,
one of
so
my
progressive.
favorite
Yeah.
artists
Yeah.
of all time, Deadmau5.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
dope.
Like I've followed that fool for years. Like when I first started making beats in 2009, I followed him. So
Dude,
I've
you
seen
need to
him,
do some
like,
stadium shows.
I shouldn't be ill. So
Okay, do you think you could do?
maybe when a project, I should put out a project just like an EDM.
Oh, you should totally
you
do
should.
that.
That
Hell
shit would be
yeah.
sick.
You should totally do that.
Absolutely.
I think you could find.
Revs has been telling me too. Pull it out, dude. That'd be dope. And I'll just reach out to like venues and just like throw like a fucking rave or something.
Yeah, you could
That'd be
do that, dude.
sick.
You
Yeah.
could put. You
I'll
could,
be there.
You could feature people because there's even people that are like obviously within the world that you're in right now that are into it as well
Yeah.
and never get a chance to do any of that.
Yeah, and a lot of people that I've worked with, they hear my EDM beats and they're like, "Oh, that's sick."
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you do anything with that? Like,
Why aren't you doing anything with that, Louden?
basically, yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Execute.
Execute.
Yeah.
There's the idea. We know that it's coming. Dude, how can people get the project right now?
You could get the project at soundcloud.com/loudenbeats, LOUDEN beats, and then you could get it also at youtube.com/loudenbeats.
And you're sending it to us, right?
I'm gonna send it to you guys after the show.
Yeah.
You can just send me the link and I'll put up the player. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, or TuneIn, go to platformcollection.com. It'll be on the front page. So just click the featured.
But
Oh,
not
I'm
on
also
speaker.
gonna put it on Spotify too.
Word.
It should be up soon.
You're on Spotify. I'm on Spotify.
Yeah.
She's on Spotify.
Good.
Yeah.
I can finally add that to my Spotify playlist.
And you can download it for free as well.
It's free?
Yes.
Are you gonna have hard copies at all? Are you thinking about it?
No, I'm not gonna have any hard copies.
No, see people?
Can't get hard.
It's over.
I know.
It's over.
It's over.
No more CDs.
Don't waste your time.
No more CDs in LA. Dude, thank you so much.
The next
man.
one I will though. The
Okay.
next one I'm gonna have like merch and like CDs, and I'm gonna try to throw like a release party for that shit.
Yeah, man.
And have like all the artists on that come and perform. So it's gonna be like a really exclusive, small type of thing, but there's gonna be dope ass artists. Where
Yeah.
It's only like limited tickets, you
We got Complex LA every first Friday, so let us know if you wanted to do it there.
know? Okay.
It's a great venue.
That's what's up.
Yep.
All right.
We'll see you next time, Loudon.
All right, yeah, thank
wait,
you,
wait,
guys.
by the way, Loudon, you have a girlfriend now.
Yes.
I like how he froze.
Yeah.
For another story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next
That's
time.
the cliffhanger for the next time. You may now
Yo,
post to it.
peace.
Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Day one, as my mark begun. What started out as fun, as I broke from vodka and rum. Hardest to swallow, like I let the words hollow my lungs. Proceed to throw up when I swallow my tongue. Let the world pile up begun. Follow the one, stalling on him, putting miles on him with a smile on, and possibly none could come close. Put a match up and let them fucking roast, like the sun versus butter on toast. Yo, who wanted the most when it's me and you? Who you think's gonna break so fast? I'm dropping joints and your ACL ain't gon' last. I'm living life through a shotgun barrel. Let you have it at garage floor level. Marauding for profit, and profit is devil. Just an angel feeling a little apart from heaven. I'm feeling lucky, yet my number seems far from 7. Lost your reverence, so whenever you're thinking about praying, just remember my name. Your love and hate me the same. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Now what the fuck am I supposed to do with it? Beat it with my vocals on a sequel? Or let my brothers feature or be the leader and let my students fill it with the music? Let them pretend to be a muse or infuse into some Buddhist? It's Buddha heads, I thought you knew this. No flow against water and lace with pearls, stay the truest. That raw uncut classic, like scratches and loose hands. Tape baby is massive, no need to feed the masses. We feeding the underground's activists dead, whether they broke as fuck or out there stacking some bread. We came from a place that had us out there cracking our heads, but we pulled through it instead of running back to our beds. Now we put our fortune into the habits we fed. What may feel like passion can make us feel actually dead. What started off as fun makes me feel savage instead. Just a habit habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage. Just a habit I'm trying to manage. What started out as fun is turning me into savage.
Brought to you by PlatformCollection.com.